43 points from Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Milwaukee Bucks could not get it done against the Utah Jazz because Donovan Mitchell, who joins us now, had a career-high 46. Are you still sipping water? I mean, like, that's got to wear you out, right? What was working so well offensively?
Just really getting into a groove. My teammates kind of allow me to make certain mistakes. I made mistakes early, and just pushing through it. And I think the biggest thing, Derek Favors, that's the unsung hero. He played great defense. I know Giannis had 43, but he made it so tough, and he made it so much easier for us to get into the paint and make plays.
Donovan, what's clicking for you now that wasn't clicking for you at the beginning of the season? At the beginning of the season, the field goal percentage was a little bit off, but now you seem like you've gotten past that and you've moved on and you're going in a different direction.
I think the biggest thing is, just adjusting. I've never experienced, being the center of the offense for and kind of having that key game plan. Last year was kind of like the trial run. So now first half of the season, just figuring things out. I was taking tough shots, not making the right reads. So the biggest thing is just slowing down and making the right plays, making the right reads. And it's not always sometimes scoring. It's passing. It's maybe setting the screen or slipping the screen. Little things like that. I think I've made it easier on myself.
My guy, Donovan Mitchell.
Rex, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Who's one of the first guys to tell you were really good?
You did, and I didn't believe a word you said.
You didn't believe it. Hey, man, talk to me about Quinn Snyder and his staff. Tell me how these guys have helped keep you guys together all season.
I think the biggest thing with us is just staying locked in on the floor, off the floor. We hang out, believe it or not, a lot off the floor. I think that builds the chemistry. Like you see right here, the water bottle thing. It's just like the chemistry we have. When you're with guys like literally 24/7, it builds that camaraderie on the floor. In a night where Rudy doesn't really play well, he trusts Fave to come in and do his thing. And that's not always the case on a lot of teams. So we have a lot of guys who are unselfish, man. And I think it starts with just the coaching staff and all of us just willing to communicate and be unselfish.
And Donovan, your team is now sitting in 6th in the Western Conference. You've now won 4 games in a row. We sit around here and talk a lot about the definition of success, and it varies for all 30 teams. There's going to be a different definition. But if you were to define a successful season for this Jazz team, what would it be?
I mean, it's a championship. It's funny people ask me that question. It's like we said, are we going to make it to the semifinals or the quarterfinals? Like we want to win a championship. We may not always be the favorite, but we're not here to really worry about everyone's opinion. We control our own destiny and we control what we can control, and that's pretty much been our mindset throughout the whole year.
Donovan, congrats on the win and congrats on a career night. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. A pretty spectacular turnaround, though, Brendan, because as you mentioned at the start of this season, it wasn't necessarily that he was struggling per se, but almost becoming a sophomore in the NBA. It's like other defenses had figured him out. He was no longer a surprise. And now to watch him turn it around in the way that he has been really special to watch.
I love the fact that he's finally figured it out. And he said something to you, Rex, that I think that was very interesting. He said, hey, he didn't really believe that he was a superstar at first. He didn't know what he had. I remember talking to him at pre-draft. He didn't even know if he was going to stay in the draft. I was like, I'm hearing great things about you. He's like, you think I should stay in? I was like, yeah. I'm hearing you're going to be a top 15 pick. So, first of all, he had to get that mentality. And then second of all, something that he said that I really paid attention to was he realized now how to be a superstar. Defenses are keying on him, how to do other things. And so it's a learning process. Everybody just doesn't step into the NBA and automatically click and figure it out. And I think Donovan early on in his sophomore campaign had a little bit of adjustment of when and where to get his shots from. That's why the field goal percentage was down. But as the season's gone along, he has a great coaching staff. He has great veterans, great teammates. They've helped him along. And he started to shine the same way he shined down the stretch of last season.
He was the first NBA player to make me feel legitimately old. And I'll tell you why. Because at Summer League, was it now 3 seasons ago? His mother approached me. I did not know his mother and said, my son's a big fan of yours and would love to meet you. And I assume she's talking about like a child. Like, oh,
a little guy.
It's a grown man who now is in the NBA.
That's right.
Got it. Sure, we can take a picture.
He's and you got fans of all types, man.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
I did not realize.
He grew up watching Inside Stuff, Ledlow.
See, I didn't realize I had crossed over into the point where grown adults could have grown up watching me. and yet here we are.
So awesome. You know, Donovan is everything that's good about the NBA. He really is.
Yeah.
And I saw him going into his freshman season at U of L. I remember Rick Pitino saying, what did you think about my team? I said, well, I love this guy. And he said, who, you, Donovan? I said, yeah, he's the best player you got. And then he goes out, and just like you said, he didn't really know. You know, he was unsung. He wasn't really heralded coming out of high school. And then I think the big thing is, you know, he had a great year, almost a rookie of the year kind of season, caught some people by surprise. Now everybody knows him. Now they're gunning for him. Now teams are scheming to defend him, and he's learned how to be a superstar, like you said.
So this is a team that's a game and a half behind Houston, sitting in 6th in the Western Conference playoff picture. Of course, without home court advantage in the Western Conference, you're at a disadvantage. That sounded quite logical, but that's why it's called an advantage. It's going to be more difficult, of course, in that first round, just whether or not they're playing the Thunder or perhaps the Blazers. Or do you see them as able to perhaps jump Houston at this point?
Well, you said there, how many games back by Houston?
Just a game and a half.
Just a game and a half. There's plenty of time for them to jump Houston.
Right.
And the Western Conference is very, very tough. Those teams beat each other up out there. So we never know where they're going to be. Of course, if you're Utah, you're trying to figure out a way to try to just win enough games to where you can get home court advantage. But I think this team has a confidence in itself. And I think they developed that last year when they were able to win a playoff series that a lot of us didn't think they could win against OKC. You know, you had Russ, you had PG, you had Carmelo, all these guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, and all they have is this Utah very good defensive team and a rookie.
Yeah.
And they went out there and they won. And so I think that team really developed something and really started to believe in themselves and develop a certain type of toughness, because this team didn't start off playing great this year either. They had to persevere, continue with that toughness, and get to this point. So I think that whether they get home court or not, I think they'll be very confident with whoever they play.
Well, it is a 9-game Saturday